Hi, I'm Chef Gail Sokol and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're making ginger date cookies. You know, soft and chewy and crackly on top with some sugar. They are so yummy and they only take a second to make. All right, in an electric mixer, you're going to put in 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of white whole wheat flour, a little something different, a little bit more fiber, a little nutty flavor. If you don't want to use, wheat flour or whole wheat flour, just use 2 cups of all-purpose flour. No problem. 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, and then some yummy spices. We have our 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. Come on over so you can see how it looks in here. 1 teaspoon of baking soda, that's our leavener. That'll help everything puff up and get nice and crackly when it rises. And this is 1/2 teaspoon of cloves, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Get that all in there. And what I like to do before I use my paddle is I like to whisk it. So these are 8 ingredients, and because there's a lot of spices and a chemical leavener like baking soda, I like to just sort of give them a premix. Just helps everything get blended together really nicely. All right. That's really the majority of the ingredients. We just have a few wet ingredients and we're done. So we're going to add 4 tablespoons of softened butter, unsalted butter. If you don't want to use butter, you can use coconut oil, you can use a light butter, you can use vegan butter, whatever you want to do. Although this is not a vegan recipe. 1 whole egg. And then my secret ingredient, date syrup. This is amazing. I discovered it in the store one day and I tried it. I think I put it on everything. I think I put it on my husband. It was so good. So I've sort of developed this recipe just for this syrup. And I'm going to use 1/2 cup. And we're going to pour that in there. Look how beautiful and smooth and yummy that is. It sort of tastes like, almost like caramelized dates, but you don't get a heavy date flavor. So don't be afraid of this if you're not a date person. It's absolutely fantabulous. And 2 tablespoons of hot water. All right, that's your batter. Or that's your dough, I should say. So once you get that all mixed in, you're just going to let that go for a sec. And then what we're going to do, I can smell the spices, yum. I'm going to put this in a bowl and I'm going to let it chill for about an hour. If you're in a hurry for delicious date ginger cookies, you can always put the bowl of dough into the freezer. That's what I always like to do. So I'm going to move it together with my hands because sometimes you can't always get in the nooks and crannies of your mixer. And before I do anything else, I'm going to add 1/2 cup of minced crystallized ginger. So this is what crystallized ginger can come like that. It can sometimes come in a cube, depends on how you buy it in the store. I just minced it with my knife on a cutting board. You want 1/2 cup in there. And I'm actually going to mix this in with my hands to make sure. So every bite is going to have this gingery, datey, yummy flavor, and you're going to be able to really taste the incredible crystallized ginger. It's going to be just slightly spicy. So you're going to get this in a bowl. I always like to put it in a separate bowl when I chill it. You can do this with a rubber spatula. I just sort of got my hands in there. Remember, your hands are your best tools. That's fine. I got a little overzealous. All right. I am just going to wash my hands and then I'm going to chill this dough, like I said, for about an hour or in the freezer for about 15-20 minutes just so it gets a little firmer. And I've made this so many times that if you're really in a hurry, you can do it right now. But they would not hold their shape as well. They would actually become a little bit flatter. And when you see them, you'll see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to just cover this with plastic wrap in my bowl. I'm going to put it right in my fridge for about an hour. All right, so when you're ready to bake, I have preheated my oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. This is my Date Lady syrup. Oh, I love it. All right, so you see this big jug? This is like my fifth one that I've gone through. I love it. So what I've done is I've taken a parchment paper lined sheet pan, and I've already done this, so we can get going. I've taken my dough out. I made a previous batch. And with a 1 tablespoon or any size ice cream scoop you want, if you want to get a monster one, you'll have monster cookies. And I just did little balls, rolled them in a ball, and rolled them in some granulated sugar. All you need is about a half a cup for the entire batch. Makes over 2 dozen cookies, depending on how big you make them. And you just leave a few inches in between, and you put them in the oven for, not that long, maybe about 14 minutes, and they get crackly and crinkly. And I want to check that for you because actually you're going to bake them for about 12 minutes. Make them for 12. 14, maybe a little bit too long because you want them to come out when they're soft. I have to check. I've made them so many times. All right, so let me show you what they look like. One more hand wash. I did bake them for 14 originally, and I realized they need to be a little softer around the edges, and it's perfect at 12. Look at these babies. Look at these babies. Look at how gorgeous they are. Aren't they spectacular? Look at them. They are beautiful. They smell, you smell the spices. You taste it. Look at the color. It almost looks like the Date Lady syrup. It has this beautiful, rich color, and they're super moist. Let me show you. So if I break into one, watch. There's no crackle. There's no crispness. Soft and chewy and yummy and going into my mouth in a minute. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you become a subscriber. Until next time.